This is from Walker Jenkins on Twitter, so you can guess who this is going to be about. What will it take for Walker Jenkins to get to AAA? Does there need to be a spot open, or will it be based off of performance given that he's only in his age 20 season?
So when I read that, I was like, spot open. Like, the spot's going to be open because Walker Jenkins is going to make the organization open it for him.
Right.
Right. He's the prize prospect. So what's best for Walker Jenkins is what's best for the Twins. So if he ranks at AA, he will get promoted to AAA or the majors and get all the at-bats that he wants. Like, they're going to do what's best for him. And you know, the joke, I don't know if you were following the Twins super close when Buxton made his AA debut for Chattanooga.
Oof. That's like right at the beginning of my
so I think
paying attention.
Byron Buxton playing center field, and I believe Mike Kwasnicka, former golfer, was playing right field. And like the second inning of that game, they collide, and Buxton gets hurt. And someone asked Kwasnicka afterwards, you know, what were you thinking? He's like, I was thinking I was going to get cut, right? Because that's the thing. Like, it was about Byron Buxton, and this year's about Walker Jenkins. So there doesn't need to be a spot. That spot will open. I mean, you look at the depth chart at AAA in the outfield: Austin Martin, Deshaun Kiersey, Erod, and then who's your other outfielder? And so it's like, you'd like to give those guys opportunities, but if Walker Jenkins is ready, Deshaun Kiersey just kind of gets out of the way. And so if Walker Jenkins stays healthy and does Walker Jenkins type things, he's going to be at AAA. And if he keeps doing them, and there's an opportunity, like with Erod, he can do those things in the major leagues. And so I don't think it's unfair to set a really high bar for him. There's a reason that he's a top 5 prospect in the world, right? Maybe even higher. And so there doesn't need to be a spot. He just needs to go out, hit the ball. I think, you know, if we're gonna pick him apart, he needs to demonstrate a little bit more power, right?
I'm so glad you brought that up, because I was weighing whether to ask you this as kind of a follow-up, right? And there's definitely like a debate in the industry prospect world about Jenkins and whether his prospect status should be dinged. And when I say dinged, I mean like the difference between like the number 3 overall prospect in baseball and like the number 17 overall prospect in baseball based on his power output. And so the reason this came up for me, Jeremy, is Fangraphs released their top 100 this week, part of their kind of prospect 2-week extravaganza that they do before spring training, which is always really, really fun. I encourage folks to check it out. I enjoy Eric Longenhagen's work a ton of Fangraphs. And so let me just put that question to you directly. Do you ding Jenkins at all for a relatively modest power output in his first professional season? Because I do think it's fair to say that at the moment, the draft scouting report power grade, which is like a 60 uniformly, hasn't yet shown up in game. So what do you make of that?
I'm not digging him yet, but I do think that it's a real question that is going to get answered. Maybe not in the short term, but if he doesn't hit for more power this year, it's going to be a real thing. So kind of my to give you a level here, I see a lot of Max Kepler, right? And Kepler, you know, you can look at the stats. He had that one year, I think, over 30. Maybe he had another year over 30.
Same as everyone else, though.
But really, I mean, Max Kepler, when you think about it, you're like, okay, he's a 20, 22 home run guy, right? And then there's another left-handed hitter that was really good for the Twins, Justin Morneau, who hit over 30 a handful of times. I think that's kind of your 2 watermarks here. If he's a Max Kepler 18 to 20 home run guy, he's going to have to be exceptional in center field, right? He's going to have to do some other stuff to keep him high. If he turns out to be a really good right or left fielder and hits 35 dingers, that's the dude you're looking for. So there's a lot of ways that this can end. If he hits, what do you have, 6 home runs last year, Jenkins?
Something like that.
If
6
he
to 8.
has if he has less than 10 home runs again this year, I think that's going to be a real question mark. And I think there will be big time publications that ding him for that, and I think that's fair, right? He was advertised as something else, but it's so hard to say. Like he's young. He started the year with some injury stuff, right?
Yep, missed
And
60 games with a hamstring strain.
and so I think a lot of that is how do you use that power? How do you turn that power into in-game stuff? And he's got to do it. Now if he hits 320 at Wichita with not a lot of home runs and he's playing sweet defense in center field, I worry less about the power, right? I mean that's how it is. But I think that's a fair question, and one that we can certainly talk about at length if we needed to.
Yep.
All he needs to do is be Walker Jenkins, and he's going to be in AAA. They will make room for him to make that long answer a little bit longer.